Hi, Libra Sun and Rising. Welcome to your November 2021 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So in November, we are feeling forward movement. We are feeling that we are leaving a lot of the retrogrades behind. Most of the planets are direct. Couple of, I was going to say scragglers, but Neptune and Uranus are still retrograding. But in any case, there is an eclipse season kicking off here. And we have the first of the axis between Taurus and Scorpio on November 19th. We will go back to Sag in December and then fully into the Scorpio and the Taurus in 2022. But so very eventful because of that. And so on the 4th of the month, we have a new moon at 12 degrees of Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign after you, as you well know, and this means that this is your second house of earned income and also self-esteem. So a new moon here can bring new developments, new beginnings in the area of your finances in one way, shape, or form. And let me see. Other things. The very next day, Mercury is going to enter this house. So you are going to be focused on your finances for one reason or the other. I would like to say that it's for a good reason, because the new moon can bring new opportunities to you. And certainly, as I stated before, the area of finances, I didn't state that it was finances, but these areas are going to be triggered because in addition to Scorpio being one of these signs getting hit by the eclipse, the 8th house, that is Taurus, is another house that is connected to money but shared resources. So both of that's going to get hit this year, but then you're going to have your second house hit in 2022. So looking at your money, figuring things out, planning things out. On the same day, your ruler Venus moves from Sagittarius in a very social area, the 3rd house, to the house of the domestic side of life, the 4th house, which is an angular house. And this is represented in your chart by Capricorn. And Venus in Capricorn, as it is a very money-oriented type of place. Now, of course, Venus is connected to money through Taurus in the 2nd house, but Venus is also about the arts and also about love. So it's not just about cold, hard cash. But in this case, it can be the kind of the way that people, even in love relationships, how does that person provide for me? Now, this would be specifically if somebody's Venus is in Capricorn. But for all of us, because we do have, we're affected by these transits when they're in certain signs, these issues can come up in one way or the other, or even within ourselves. Like, what are we using money to kind of increase our status, if it's talking about ourselves? This is your 4th house, so this could relate also to real estate matters. And I think that if you have been, I'm trying to think, I'm very sure that there have been some things that maybe have really been, I don't like to use the word destroyed with you as it relates to homes, physical, I'm talking about physical property now, but Pluto is in that sector, and Pluto has been there for years, and so it's like a wrecking ball in order to build back better. Where have I heard that slogan before? I just couldn't resist. But it's really true. You know what I mean? It's really about that sense to take something that isn't working and make it better. Now Saturn is ruled by it rules Capricorn, and was we did experience recently Saturn in Capricorn, and that was in your fourth house, and it almost seems kind of similar to that. Saturn can create austerity and restrictions. So you may have gone through a lot on the home front and are still dealing with it. Saturn or Pluto will be here for a couple more years, and I'm thinking maybe even in 2024 it will retrograde back into when it goes back into Capricorn for a little while. It might be even in 2024 still doing that. So a few more years of this. Obviously, your individual chart may differ, but the point is that this can give you kind of like a respite from some of the more challenging things that have happened. And I actually think Pluto recently went direct, and so that might have been more internalizing some of these renovations, maybe renovations of the soul, if anything else. And the fourth house can be your childhood, and that might have been a lot of soul searching with that. But Venus here can bring money through real estate, can bring harmony with your mother, maybe money from your mother. And so that's nice. And on the 19th, we have a lunar eclipse at 27 degrees of Taurus. That's the opposite house. Another money house, the 8th house. This is a really powerful situation for Libra. And I would imagine that in the next year plus, when you have these eclipses in Taurus and Scorpio, that Librans will be experiencing quite a metamorphosis. The 8th house is the house of transformation, your personal alchemy. And you already have Uranus here, so it's taking you down alternative paths. And this, to me, can indicate, developing an interest in astrology, perhaps anything connected to alchemy, which basically, to me, means personal transformation. And, some people get into the magic thing, but, or shamanism, all of these transformational tools and healing tools can be very valuable for you, and you never know if it will be part of a future career for you, that if it will change the direction of your life in some way. So don't be afraid of the change, because it has a very freeing quality because of Uranus. In the tarot, the Fool card, the first card, is connected to Uranus. And, when you think about forging your own path that is unique to you, that's what this is all about. So rather than living somebody else's life or living a cookie cutter life, this can give you that sense that your life is like a work of art. There's a little reference to you Librans out there. And this is a great eclipse for letting go of addictions. I was really surprised to learn that the 8th house was connected to addictions. When you study astrology, or probably just about anything else under the sun, you will see contradictory or alternative interpretations and information. So it's very important when you're trying to learn something, when you're studying on your own, or even when you're studying through somebody else, you still come across different points of view, and it's okay. You don't have to become a fundamentalist about anything. You can keep And especially somebody like Libra, you understand exactly what I mean about just seeing different vantage points. On the 21st, the sun goes into Sag. And, before I just say that, I just want to say one more thing about the lunar eclipse is that there could be a death within yourself that is coming from the lower nature. The eighth house can be what lies beneath the shadow self, that coming to the surface. For Libra, this can be especially important because of your propensity, if you will, to try to please other people and including not being your authentic self. So purging this tendency in however way it shows up, which we cannot predict that part, can be something that is very liberating. But being liberating doesn't mean that it's not messy. So if you have to stop being uncomfortable with things that are not very lovey-dovey, because sometimes life is messy. And if you're approaching things with a pure spirit, that's everything. That means that you're an honest broker, that you're not trying to hurt anyone, that you're only trying to grow. And if somebody is coming to any situation with that intention, I don't think that there's any karma that can stick to them for that, because that's the whole point, is that everything is about intention. Every act that we commit, if we're doing it for the right reasons, then we're immune from the worst consequences. That doesn't mean we don't do things in a diluted state and we think we're doing it for good reasons, but they're really not. And yeah, there is cause effect in the universe. So if you do something because you're just ignorant on the topic and you allowed someone else to convince you or influence you, then yeah, you have to deal with the effects of that decision. But if you are very intentional and you are thinking things very clearly as you're doing them, that's a different story. So that can be very powerful for you, and not necessarily in an overt way, but in an internal way. On the 21st, the sun goes into Sag, and it's right up your alley, the third house, fellow air sign, Gemini's domain, and just the social media, the communication, maybe back and forth with people, online stuff, writing projects, teaching and learning. This is the kind of thing that you excel in, Libra. So you should do very well during this Sagittarius season. A few days later, Mercury goes here. And so when Mercury is in the second house, it's very practical, but it can be very kind of fixated, fixed sign Taurus, on the matters at hand that are of a very, we could call them a limited nature, because they're the three-dimensional, your possessions, your money, they're earthbound. But in the third house, the air element is kind of like, you could call it intangible. So it's much more, it's lighter. And so your mind becomes lighter as well. And you become, you enjoy kind of like just the art of communication, where you don't have to just plot away, but you don't have to be, always be profound either. You can just enjoy a bit of gossip, or a bit of, when I say gossip, I don't mean anything malicious, but, talking about catching up with people on the latest, or just tuning in yourself to things that you enjoy. But this is great for the writers out there. Okay, this is what I have for you, Libra. I hope that you resonated with it. If you would like a private reading, I do chart interpretations, I do transits, and I also have combination with both of those, like full-length readings at a special price called Deep Dive chart readings. You can find out all about my offerings at the link below. Take care. Bye.